Okay, second video. Hopefully we can get this done soon. All right, let's get started. I'm going to skip that part. Blah, blah, blah. The theoretical probability, so that should be theoretical. Okay, the theoretical probability of an event is the ratio of number of ways an event can occur to the total number of equally likely outcomes. So we wrote this already in our notebooks. When the outcomes in a sample space of an experiment have the same chance of occurring, the outcomes are said to be, I think it's fair, right? And I don't know what that is. An experiment which all are equally said to be fair. You can usually assume that experiments involving coins and number cubes are fair. So I think, let's skip that because don't know what it is. All right, so finding the theoretical probability, I mean, in theory, okay, doesn't mean it's going to happen. So we're just looking at the die, and what's the probability of rolling a 3? Well, there's 6 sides, right? There's 6 sides to a die, and there's only one 3, so that means it's 1 out of 6. Rolling a number greater than 3, well, there's 6 sides. Greater than 3 would be 4, 5, 6, so there's 3 out of 6 chances, or a half. Rolling a number a multiple of 3, right? So if you think of a multiple of 3, it'd be 3, 6, 9, 12. So in this die here, there is a 3 and there is a 6. So there's 2 numbers, 2 out of 6 or 1/3. And rolling a factor of 18. Well, if you look at all the factors, remember how we did factors a long time ago. Really long time ago. Think of all the numbers that multiplied give you 18. So I have 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6, 4 and no, that's it. So all these numbers are factors of 18. So in the die, there's a 1, right? There's a 1 is in there. A 2 is in there. A 3 is in there. And a 6 in there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers. 4 out of 6 chances of rolling a factor of 18. And that becomes 2/3. Reflect. Sally and Ronera are discussing how to write the probability of rolling a 3 on a number die. Well, so let me just bring the picture down a little bit. So to roll a 3, how many? First of all, there's 6 sides, right? And how many 3s? There's only 1. So the probability is, so the P of 3 is 1 out of 6. Sally writes it as 3 out of 6, and Lorena writes it as 1 out of 6. Who's right and who's wrong? Well, definitely this person's right? We just proved it. It's 1 out of 6 because on a die there are 6 sides, 6 faces, and only one of them has the number 3. There's only one 3. Okay. Let's move down. Oops. Move down. Find the theoretical probability of each outcome. Write the answer as a fraction, decimal percent. Okay. Randomly choosing B from the letters in the algebra. So how many B's? How many letters? First of all, let's write this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 7 letters. And how many B's? Only 1. No, wait, that's not a B. This one is a B. There's only B. So you got a 1 out of 7 chance. And if you get your calculators out and you divide that by 7, you get a 14.29% chance, or 0.1429. I'm going to leave it at that because I rounded. Rolling a factor of 10 on a number cube. So again, we are talking of a number cube, right? A cube, right? A cube. So which are factors of 10? Well, think about what factors of 10 are. It's going to be 1 and 10, 2 and 5, and that's it. So on this die, we have a number 1, a number 2, and a number 5. There's no 10 here, right? There's no 10 here. So there's a 1, 2, and 5. So it'd be 3 out of 6. And 3 out of 6 is the same thing as 50% or 0.5. A spinner. So now we have a spinner, right? And dividing into 10 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we want number less than 5. So less than 5 will be 4, 3, 2, 1. So there's 4 numbers out of 10, or 2/5, or 0.4, or 40%. Rolling a 2 or greater on a number cube. So again, we're back to the cube. So here's my cube, right? So there's my cube. So in this number, we want 2 or greater. So it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5 numbers over 6. 5 over 6. And that is going to translate to 83.33%, or as a decimal, 0.83 bar notation, right? Because it's repeating forever and ever. Rolling a factor of 36. What's with all these factors? On a number cube. So again, we're talking about a number cube. Factors of 36. 1, 36, 2, and something. 20, 18. Yeah. 3 and 12. 4, 9, 5, no, and then 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 numbers on a cube, right? There's the 1, there's a 2, a 3, a 4, and 6. So it's 5 numbers out of 6. So this is also going to be 83.33%, or 0.83. Use a spinner below. So again, we're going to use a spinner. So an even number. So what is the probability of getting an even number? We have an even number is 2 and 4. So it's 2 out of 5. 0.4, or 40%. A factor of 6. Now we're looking for factors of 6. Would be 1, 2, and 3. Right? So a factor of 6 will be 1, 2, and 3. So that's going to be 3 out of 6, or 0.5, or 50%. Less than 5. Less than 5 will be 4, 3, 2, 1, or 4 out of 6, or 2/3 if you reduce it, and we get 0.6, what do you call? Repeating, or 66.67 if you round it to the nearest 100. A factor of 16, so factors of 16, numbers that multiply give me 16. I'm going to use the 1, 2, and the 4. Those are factors of 16. So if you do 16, you got 1 times 16 is 16, 2 times 8 is 16, 3 no, 4 no, 5 no, 6 no, 7, yeah, no, 3 no. Oh, 4 yes. So on what are factors of 16 that are in this number, in this spinner? The 1, the 2, and the 4. The 1, the 2, and the 4, which is 3 out of 6. Sorry, 3 out of 5. That's going to be 0.6, or 60%. If you spin the spinner 200 times, what is the best prediction possible for the number of times you land on an even number? Well, what are the even numbers? 2 and 4. So let me write this. So the probability of getting an even number is 2 out of 5. So to do our prediction, right? So predict doesn't mean it's going to happen. We're going to take 2 out of 5 multiplied by 200. So if you do that, you're going to get 0.4 times 200, or 2/5. You're going to get 80 times. So if you were to spin that 200 times, 80 times, it would land on an even number, theoretically. If you want to spin if you want to spin the number 3 10 times, I think that means if you want to land on the number 3 10 times, theoretically, how many times would you need to spin the spinner? Well, to land on 3, you have a 1 and how many chances? 1. So to land on 3, it's a 1 out of 5 chance. So every 5, you would one of them will land on 3. So you want to land this 10 times, right? So you want to land on 10. So you would do every group of 5. So if you spun another 5, you land one time on 3. If you spun another 5, one of them would be on 3. So if you spun another 5, one of them would be on 3. So if you think about it this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if you spun this 5 times, one of them would be on 3. If you spun it again 5 times, one of them would be on 3. If you spun it again 5 times, one of them would be on 3. So in order to get 10 of them to land on 3, let me rephrase that. If you wanted to have the spinner land on 3 10 times, you would have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 times 5, 50 times you would have to spin that spinner. Okay. And number, almost over. Use the spinner again below to answer the following questions. Write your answer as a fraction. So a prime number is 1, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 out of 8, which is the same thing as 3/4, or 0.75 or 75%. So you got fraction, a decimal, and a percent. A multiple of 3, multiples of 3 is 3, 6, no, 9, yes, 15, yes. So we got 3 out of 8. And 3 divided by 8 is going to give us 37.5%, or 0.375. A number less than 13, number that's smaller than 13, it would be this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. They're all smaller, so it's be 6 out of 8. And again, we're going to get 75%, or 0.75. And a factor of 45, numbers that I can multiply to get 45. And that would be a 1, a 3, a 5, a 9, and a 15. All these numbers are factors of 15, which means it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 8. No idea what that is. A little bit more than 50%. 5 divided by 8 equals 62, 0.625, or as a percent, 62.5%. If you spun the spinner 32 times, how many times would you expect the spinner to land on a number less than 7? Well, first of all, let's find out what's the probability. The probability of less than 7, and I'll actually write it out. Less than 7. What's the probability of less than 7? Well, numbers less than 7 is a 5, a 3, and a 1. So it's a 3 out of 8 chance. So to predict, I'm going to do 3 over 8 times what? Times 32. If I multiply that, I'm going to get 12. So 12 times it will land on a number less than 7. If I spun a spinner 48 times, how many times would you expect to spin a number that is a multiple of 5? Well, let's see how many multiples of 5 I have. A multiple of 5 would be 5, 10, 15, good. So there's only 2 multiples of 5, so it would be 2 out of 8. Or if I simplify, or 1/4. So you pick whichever one you want to use. So the prediction, you can use 1/4 times 48. And that's also going to be 12 times. And I think that's it. No, that's not. If you spin the spinner 88 times, how many times would you land to expect the spinner to spin a factor of 90? Really? Oh, factors of 90. So all numbers that... Oh, no. What did I just do? No. Yes, this one. Okay, so a factor of 90, some numbers that multiplied would give me 90 would be a 1, definitely a 1, a 3, a 15, a 9, and a 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it would be 5 out of 8. So that's spinner, and I'm going to write factor of 90. So it's 5 or 8. So my prediction would be 5 out of 8 times 90, times 88, sorry. And that's going to give me simplified, or you can just use a calculator. 5/8 times 88 equals 55. Let me just read the question below. And okay, that has nothing to do. Dane wrote the letters of New York City on cards and placed them in the hat. He selected a card and replaced it every time. If Dane did this experiment 88 times, what's the best prediction for how many times he would choose the letter Y? Well, let's find what is going on. Let's find, seriously, the music. P of Y. What's the probability of getting a Y? How many Y's here? There's two Y's. How many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 2 out of 11 chance of getting a Y. So, prediction again. We're going to use 2 of 11. You're going to multiply it by 88 times. And if you multiply it, you're going to get 16. So 16 times it would land on the Y. Okay, and I think I'm done.